Now, honestly, I've read a lot of books in my lifetime about money, about finance, about stocks, just about personal finance overall. Now, the book that actually had the biggest impact in my life was basically The Richest Man in Babylon and also The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by Edgar T. Hart. Those two books actually changed my life the most. But my life actually changed financially when I started to ask myself this one question, which I will tell you in this video. Now, that question didn't come from a book or advice. It came from just this moment of just realization when something actually clicked. It was as if, for example, I was just basically going around life autopilot, and when this question clicked, it changed everything, okay? So in this video, I'm gonna break this down. As always, guys, like this video. I appreciate it a ton. Now, here's what actually happened, okay? It was the famous 25-cent raise. Now, at the time, I was in college. And I was doing what every college student basically does, being stupid, dumb, and spending a bunch of money. Now, I had a job, and this job was actually paying me around $8.50 an hour. And I was basically making about $1,000 a month or so, and I would use that money for normal college guy type stuff, to buy sneakers. At the time, I was a big sneakerhead, to buy things I wanted, maybe like an iPhone, to buy food and go out with friends, and everything seemed pretty normal until I got this 25-cent raise. You know, I was at the office one day and I get my paycheck and I'm like, yo, I got extra money. What happened? Boss tells me, oh, you got a 25-cent raise because the minimum wage went up. And I was like, 25 cents extra? Like, how much extra is that? And I calculated it, and it was basically like an extra $30. And you might say, Tommy, that's not a lot of money. And I also knew it wasn't a lot of money, right? But what clicked for me was, I realized for the first time in my life that 1 hour of my time, I was trading it for $8.75. And you might say, that was always obvious, right? It was always an hour for work, right? It was minimum wage, obviously, right? No. But at the time, everyone around me was doing that. Everyone was just basically working, making money hourly. All my friends were doing the exact same thing. We all had the same spending habits, you know? It was all basically the same. So when I actually realized this, I said, 1 hour of my time is worth $8.75. Now that led me to start asking this one question. How much time is this worth? And like I said before, guys, at the time, I'm a huge sneakerhead. I'm buying sneakers all the time. I have over 20 pairs of sneakers, maybe like 23 total. And I'm like, yo, I love doing this. But when I asked this question, I was like, how much time is this worth? You know, and I have, for example, a pair of sneakers. They're about $160 each pair. And I'm like, how much time did I spend on this piece of plastic, leather, whatever you call it? And I started to do math. The math set me free in this case, okay? So it was $160. And I said, well, 1 hour of my time is basically worth, divided by 875 at the time, that was about 18 hours. I was like, there's no way I would be willing to work 18 hours for a pair of sneakers. There's no way I'll be willing to work 11 hours to buy trash food at 7-Eleven. Like, things just didn't make any sense anymore, and everything changed. Now, I started to have something I never had before. First, I had a goal. I wanted to spend less money because I did not want to keep working and making that money at that level to spend it on that type of trash. Number two is, I wanted to increase my income. I knew that, hey, I'm getting paid $8 right now, but there are jobs that pay you a lot more per hour, right? So I wanted to be able to increase my income. Number three is, I wanted to make money without working. I wanted to have my money make me money. Now that's massive. That's passive income. And all those books helped me out a ton. But you know, you can read all the books you want. If you don't apply it, it's useless. You can talk to someone about books all you want, but if they don't think it's actually like necessary, they won't actually read the books anyway. So that question is what changed me forever. Just start asking, how much time is this worth? Now here's what happened. Just by asking that question, I started to save a lot of money, okay? Just a lot of money on everything. And that led me to the used marketplace. You know, instead of buying, for example, a $20 t-shirt or a $60 pair of jeans, I started going to Goodwill and saying, hey, this pair of jeans is like $5. This shirt is like $1. I'll buy this. It's a lot less than paying, for example, for a $20 t-shirt about 3 hours of my time. I'm not doing that anymore. And things just started to go a lot better for me in that case. So I just started to become very cheap in a way, but it was all for the sake of just saving a lot of money, because right now my time wasn't worth that much money. And to be able to basically spend that money on things I really didn't need just didn't make any sense at the time. Now, number two is I started to hustle a lot, okay? So instead of being, for example, just working that job, I had another job. Now, again, that other job at Gap paid me around $10 an hour. So I'm getting paid $10 an hour here, $8.75. Again, I'm not a professional at anything, don't have any experience, I'm still in college, don't have that much earning power at the time, okay? Then I also start selling phones and so on, right? Start selling phones and sneakers, and it's a lot more different because some weeks I make $200, $300, some months $1,000, $2,000, but it's a lot more different because whenever I sell a phone and I make like a $50 profit or an $8 profit, I only spent like 15 minutes or like an hour, right, with that whole deal transaction. And that meant my time now was worth a lot more. That made all the difference. Now, with the capital that I actually was making from all those little side hustles or whatever, I was saving it. Now, with that money, I can invest it, put into, for example, the S&P 500, and have that money make me more money. Now, that's where everything started to change. That's where everything started to flow, you know, to save money, to make more money, and to have that money work for you. So that way you don't have to actually work all the time with your real time to make money. So in conclusion, guys, once I started to do all these things, I've always had this goal. I never actually said on YouTube, I think, but when I was about 19 years old, which is when I actually realized this, right, and I started asking these questions, I had a goal. And my goal was always like, hey, I want to make minimum wage 24 hours a day, 365 hours. 365 days a year. Like, that was my goal. I wanted to make that much money every single year. And to me, that was basically $8.75. I always use this number because that was my minimum wage at the time. And I said, I want to make this money every single day, 24 hours a day, right? That's $210 an hour. Multiply that by 365, that's about $76,650. Now, if I can make this much money in passive income, that's great. It won't happen now. It does take time because in reality, using my little rule, by the way, I don't need this much money at all, right? That's also a big clause, right? Because listen, this is a lot of money. Divided by 4, that's about, well, that's not the number, right? That's what was the number? It was about $79,000, right? So divide that by 12. That's about $6,583 every single month, right? That's a lot of money. But for me personally, if you have a paid off home, you don't have any debt, paid off car, you're paying for groceries and utilities and transportation, for the most part, you don't need this much money. But it's a good goal to shoot for. It's an arbitrary goal, but it's not what I actually need. But it would be nice to actually get there because in the end, to actually get to this amount of money every single year divided by 0.04, I would need about $1.9 million, like in the stock market, to be able to generate that much money by taking out 4%. Or if I'm actually able to say, hey, I'm actually going to put it into real estate and I can get an 8% return every single year, well, I would need, for example, like almost $1 million invested into real estate. But again, it's not like I actually need that much money whatsoever, right? So that's the core idea. But it's a goal to have in mind, to be able to make minimum wage every hour of the day without working. That's massive. But the conclusion is, guys, if you spend less than you make, you try to increase your income, and you invest the difference, and in the end, you can basically have a good amount of wealth build up. So asking yourself, how much does this cost is not enough. Is how much time does this cost that changed everything for me. I hope this helped you in some way. Thanks for watching. Comment down below times when you made it all the way to the end of the video. And as always, like, subscribe, hit the button to be notified. Up here is another video. Over here is my face. And as always, Long Term Team officially out.